welcome and thank you for joining us today on our next excursion in our journey to an organized kitchen. Today we are talking about island storage and the best items to store in your huge, spacious, beautiful kitchen islands. And we are back here with professional organizer Pam. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your time with us today. To kick us off, we're gonna start with an icebreaker question. So what is your favorite way to welcome in fall?
Buying those little pumpkins and putting them on the counter between my kitchen and the dining room, because I love, love, love pumpkin pie. And the color just reminds me, okay, yes, it is fall. Because here in Tucson, Arizona, it is still in the 90s, where the rest of the country, it's very different.
I love those tiny pumpkins. They're so cute. With kitchen islands, some of them have a lot of cabinets on their face and some of them have a lot of drawers. So first, let's talk about the best items to store in the drawers at the kitchen islands.
Yes, so the best things for the drawers in the island are those items that are going to make your life easier. And the first area to look at is emptying the dishwasher. So when you have it down and you have everything pulled out, silverware is important. You do not want to have to awkwardly reach the silverware drawer. So that's why for some people's kitchens, the drawer in an island is going to be easiest because they'll be able to reach down and just turn a little bit to the right or the left and put the silverware away. So that's one consideration. And again, it's all about what makes it easier for you. And then the other thing is to look at what is your island close to. So if you're close to the stove, you may want to, if you would turn around, you may have some of your things that you like to use on the stove in there. And the other thing is your pads. Usually the microwave may be close to the stove. So then you've already got these. And then another way to think about it is when you're done with your meal, do you end up having a lot of your food left over right there on the island? So then on the island that is closest to the refrigerator is where it could be convenient for you to have the resealable bags. And then of course, the other items are the containers that you have. But just be able to say to yourself, okay, what could be easy for me? And I like to think if it's easier in the kitchen, it's more fun, get in there and get out. And so those are the key things about drawers. Think about silverware, the stove items, and the last one are the washcloths and towels. So where is it easiest for you to get those? And if it doesn't matter to you, that's a good place. That's a good place to put these on the opposite side away from the kitchen sink. Because most people, the island that's closest to the sink and stove is going to get the most action. So you may get around to the other side and go, well, what do I put over here? And it's because these are often reached for less often. So think about what else do you have? Do you really love gadgets? If you have lots of gadgets that you don't use very often, but you want to have it, like a fancy apple peeler or mango or avocado, all these things they make individually, you may have fun putting all your fun gadgets. Oh, an ice cream scoop that, is and that kind of thing. Putting those together could be fun on the side of the island that you are not walking past as much, but it is open.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I like how you mentioned after you're done eating and storing the food, because like to think it all the way through the process, because I think that as you're preparing a meal, it's easy to plan for that, but a lot of people may forget to plan for once the meal is done. So that's so smart to have those storage containers really close and handy, because everyone wants cleanup to go as quickly as possible.
It does take practice deciding what amount of food will go into a container. And so if you have them together and you can like pull out a container and pull out, a bag and say, okay, you're not going to probably not going to put the soup in here, but you're like, okay, I don't care if it's, it's like the idea is to choose one. So, and it works, even if it's a little big, so that you don't have to pour out into another container. And that takes practice. And that's one of the cool things that kids and everybody learns in the kitchen is it is one of those skills that does help you with the spatial orientation and the guessing of how much space is taken up by food.
And so in the cabinet faces of the islands, what are some items that you would recommend storing behind those cabinets? And are there any cabinet designs that you actually find help keep people more organized?
Yes. Well, for cabinets, think of the appliances that you don't use very often. And the rule is the lighter it is, the higher it goes. The heavier it is, the further down it goes. So an example would be something like a waffle maker. Maybe you only do waffles with everybody once or twice a month or once every couple months. So you're going to put that waffle maker at the bottom, maybe even in the back, because when you want it, you're willing to move other things to get it. And it can be big and bulky. Another thing would be black iron skillet. A lot of people have them, but they don't use those on a daily basis. Some people I know, if they have a juicer, they're probably keeping that out. But if you have a regular blender, that could probably be a place, and you're going to use it for cooking, or you're going to just use it when you make margaritas to chop up that ice in the drink. So that would be one example I can think of. Chef, can you think of other items?
Along that same line, a food processor, I feel like those aren't used very often, so you could probably tuck them down. A KitchenAid mixer, but it is fairly heavy, so you may want to keep it, you could keep it down low, or you may want to keep it hip height, but somewhere that's like behind if you have like an appliance garage or something like that, that way you don't have to like lift it up and back and don't want to hurt your back. And then another thing that came to mind was like a hand pasta maker, hand crank pasta maker. Those aren't too heavy, but not too many people make handmade pasta daily. So I think that would be another kind of good one to hide away a bit.
And then you asked me about design. Well, I think the coolest thing is you have a cabinet and you open up that cabinet and it has a pull-out drawer. Oh my gosh, those are terrific, because then you always remember, you can reach it easily, lift it up, and whatever's behind it, everything that's there, you can easily see. So yes, if someone gets a chance to design their own island, I would highly recommend that. Awesome. And another big trend are big drawers where people put their plates and bowls into the drawer instead of like we usually do up. So for some people, that works terrific also.
Nice. Yeah, cool. So to leave the upper cabinets for other options, and have the big drawers down below for plates and bowls.
Now I had another couple thoughts about things on the bottom would be very large bowls and large platters that you may not use every week. And that, and some people, like, even if you're somebody who likes to have things like with like, you might be somebody who has a Thanksgiving platter and the Thanksgiving paper napkins and the paper plates, all together. So whatever makes your heart sing as far as knowing where your stuff is and how you want to be treated. Where some people are like, oh no, for me, those paper plates need to be with the other paper plates, but they're at the bottom, or hey, I got a box out in the garage and that's got everything Thanksgiving. And I even did a label, and I stuck the turkey decoration that my kid did on with masking tape, or not masking tape, but Scotch tape, and that to make sure it would stay on there. So you can just look at it and go, okay, please go out and get me the turkey box and the Thanksgiving box, and they come back with it. So that I'm really geeky about this because it's so fun for me. And I know that a lot of people, it's not like that. So I'm hoping some of my enthusiasm and creativity will cast over with you so that you can have more fun.
I think anytime we can create ways to make ourselves smile or laugh a little bit, even if it seems a little bit cheesy or something when you go out and look at that turkey box. But if you can laugh, then your day's just gotten a little bit brighter.
Exactly.
So now that we've covered storage within the island, let's talk about the flat surface of the island. Sometimes people will have like a stovetop on the island or a sink, but really one of the nicest things is all of that big, spacious prep area.
Yes.
With that big area, sometimes it can be really tempting to start piling and get some clutter going on it. So do you have any tips for us for how to maintain that open space that we want?
Yes, because it is talk about the landing zone. So the key thing is that that island, that beautiful space, is just natural that when you come in the door, your stuff in your hands is going to land there. So I think it's important to embrace what's going on there. And usually the things that people drop there are the keys and the mail. So let me start with keys. So the best thing for keys is that you never have to worry where they are. So I love the idea of a key bowl. Ta-da-da. Everybody drops them in there, and it doesn't, it can be any shape. It can be plastic. The thing is that then if anybody needs their keys, you never have to hear somebody yelling, "Where are my keys?" Then the other big thing is mail. You have the mail. And so for the mail, you recognize this is a reusable container. And so I like being able to put it up like this, because if you do with something flat, then what happens is all kinds of things. You never know what bills or what's down there. But this kind of screams, okay, this is temporary. And hopefully within the next few days or week, you can go through here and sort it. And the other cool thing is, let's say you like to watch TV. One of the best things is, okay, you actually, before you go sit down, you get your water and you go pick up your mail container and open it and deal with it, make the piles there. And then when you get up to go to the restroom, you go ahead and put, okay, the bills, or you actually go get your checkbook and pay, write that check. So anything to make it easier and fun. And so this would be better as a purse container. So I know it's weird. You already have a purse. It's like, well, why do I need a basket for my purse? Well, it's because usually it's not just a purse. There usually ends up being receipts and maybe even leftover food that you are bringing in from going to a fast food place. So a big basket like this, and the purse is just, your purse is your portable home. So I think it deserves to have its own container. So consider that. And because the people who already love a clear island and make sure that everybody in the house knows not to leave anything on there for more than 5 minutes, that's already being taken. So I'm talking to everybody the people who are very visual. And when you're visual, you like to see your things out because you feel nervous. When you put anything behind a cabinet, it's out of sight, out of mind. And so go ahead and embrace it and say, okay. And the other thing you can do that's fun, take some masking tape and actually decide how much is going to be your stuff that's not food related. And then notice, can everybody in the household keep the things that they put on that counter within this tape? Because otherwise it spreads out, and you don't want a fire. You don't want some mail to be close when you turn on a burner that you've got on your island.
So I see it really as like the boxes and the masking tape gives kind of a boundary of like, everything has a place and this is where it goes. That way, whenever you do want to use your kitchen island, you have other space that you can work with. So you're getting the best of both worlds.
Yes. And when things start to go beyond that blue tape, you can call and say, oh, you call everybody together and say, okay, now we're going to play a game called Put Things Away. So I want you to look at your stuff. What can you take to your room? What can you move off of here? And you set a timer, or go, oh, and or you bribe them with food. If you do this, I'm going to make brownies. I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And speaking of the containers, you're going to get the best buy-in from roommates and family and whoever you live with if you have them come up with their own container. So you can use something like a shoebox and somebody can decorate that, or these baskets I've used, or the resealable food containers. So being able to get people in the house to agree, because what I have learned is that most families, everybody has a different organizing style. So for some people, one of your kids might be really into it, the other one is not. And it may be because their brain works differently. And so this is a way to at least clearly explain what you want and help them come through for you and the function of the kitchen.
Yes, so giving everybody an opportunity to do it their way can get them engaged in organizing, and especially with the little ones, really start that learning process.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a thought whenever we were talking about the keys and stuff. Some islands have like a flat face, and that might be a good spot. You could put some hooks or something, and you could hang keys if you don't want them, sitting on the island. That might work out for some people because you can see them, but they're also not taking up space on top.
Excellent. Yes, hooks. Excellent. And a hook for, I was going to say a kid's backpack, but sometimes kids still have heavy, but that would be the thing, is to think about, what else can you put on that hook? Yeah. Those hooks. That's excellent. Encouragement to make decisions based on function. There's no right or wrong way to organize. What we're finding more about our brains is everybody is different. And thank goodness we've got all kinds of choices. So, a nice checklist is basket, box, or hooks. But can I use a box, basket, or hooks? Because some people will never want to put a lid on, and other people are really like to put lids on. And so that's why for some people, those beautiful boxes don't work at all if you expect them to keep the lid on. Now, if you take the lid off and keep it that way, they're like, okay, I'm in. So do not give up on continuing to make your life more fun and especially joyful around the kitchen.
Thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for giving us all of these great ideas for the kitchen island. And I hope that all of you chefeteers can find a way to make it work out for you in the best way, so that, as professional organizer Pam said, you have a very joyful experience in the kitchen.